Hi everyone! So for today's video, I'm just going to be doing a tutorial on how I like to make my beanies and to where you don't get any extra fabric or bunching right at the top. This is very smooth, seamless kind of a look to it, so to speak. Um, this is just a fairly simple and very beginner friendly tutorial as well too. You really just need to know one stitch and that's about it. And so it's really easy, pretty quick to make as well too. But if you are interested and you want to know how to do this, just keep on watching. Starting off, I'm using a medium weight yarn. My hook is a 3.75 millimeter, and of course some scissors, but you're not going to use those until the very end. So to start off, we are just going to be doing a slip stitch so we can go ahead and start all of our chains. The initial chain right now that we are doing is actually going to be the length of the beanie or the height of it. I definitely have a preference of it being slightly longer just because I like a pretty thick cuff when I fold over my beanies and everything. So I usually do the length by a chain of 50, but you could of course customize it to be a little shorter or a little longer as well too. And again, that is just completely up to your preference, and you can just measure it by going from the center, like the crown of your head, down to where you would ideally want it to stop, and then that can be the amount of chains that you can go ahead and do. Also, since we are going to be doing half double crochets throughout this entire pattern, whatever chain length you reach, you're going to add 2 extra ones at the end. So once you go ahead and you reach the end of it, you're going to start the half double crochets. So from the 3rd stitch from your hook, you're just going to yarn over. You're going to insert your hook into the chain, yarn over once again, and then you're going to have 3 loops on the chain now, and you're just going to yarn over and pull completely through to where you just have 1 loop left on your hook. And that is just a half double crochet, and then that's the one that we're going to be doing throughout the entire pattern, like I said. And now you're just going to be doing half double crochets into every stitch up until the last remaining 5 of the chain, and then that is where we're going to do something just a little different. After reaching the final 5 stitches in your row, that's actually where we're going to go ahead and start skipping, doing some skips and everything. The hidden thing, I guess, for the less bunched up beanie look, especially on the top, is going to be more of a taper effect. So with the initial 5 on your foundation chain, you are just going to go ahead and just leave those alone for now, and we're going to just treat it as if it's like the end of the row. So you're going to chain 2, and then now, since we are also going to be doing a ribbed look for the beanies, you're going to go ahead, chain 2, and start doing your half double crochets in all of the back loops only. So it's going to be the loops that are facing away from you that you're going to go ahead and start working into, and you're just going to finish the entire row doing that, chain 2 and turn your work, and then you're going to go all the way up until those last 5 once again that we skipped. And then once you get there on the last remaining half double crochet, you're going to go ahead and do that like normal. And now we're going to go ahead and start really doing like that taper effect. And at least with this, you do want to somehow connect the working row that you're on and that middle one that we skipped to kind of merge them two, because if you just go ahead and do your half double crochets into the foundation chain, completely skipping that middle one, it's going to kind of just leave like a big gap, and especially if you're wearing it, you're going to feel that draft in your head throughout that little gap right there, and no matter how tight your tensions are, it's not going to close. So the easiest way to do it is you're just going to yarn over, and then you're going to insert your hook also in the space where we did the chain 2s, and then also insert your hook into the foundation chain, the ones that we initially skipped as well too. So we're just going to basically just merge everything together, get it to where it has like a pretty narrow taper just to make it all easier at the end. So then you're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through the foundation chain and the chain twos to where you have 3 loops remaining on your hook, and then you're just going to yarn over and pull through completely normal, like as you would with a normal half double crochet, and you're just going to finish your row and chain 2 once again and continue all the way to the end of the row and go all the way back up until those last 5 once again. And reaching the last 5 once again, you are going to go ahead and just count 5 chains up until the end, and then you're going to go ahead and skip those and then just chain 2, turn your work, and once again continue. So it's just a pattern of basically skipping 5, filling 5, skipping 5, filling 5. Just keep that pattern throughout the entire way that you work your beanie, and it will definitely start to get more of that taper look, and it will start curving on its own like in a dome shape almost, and that's how you know it's working. And here you can see, at least with the rows that we've completed so far, you can see the taper that is really going at the top there, how it's getting really skinny. That is exactly how we kind of want the beanie to start looking the more and more you work at it. And at this point, you can just keep on going with that same skipping pattern until you reach your desired width. For the measurements and everything, I usually do 44 rows. I find that that's the most universal, easiest way to do it and keep track. But of course, you can just go as uh, fitted as you want, as loose as you want, and just really just take your time with it. Once you've reached your desired width and everything, now it is time for almost the end, which is just sewing everything together and making it one piece. The easiest way that I like to do this is making sure I end my final row at the bottom of where like the cuff is and everything, just so I can keep it all in one piece, less tails to weave in, less things to cut and all that, just makes it a lot easier. And so now you can either do a slip stitch to get everything all together or a single crochet. But on the side that you did the half double crochets, you're just going to start with the front loops only now. And in the front loops, you're going to also connect the foundation chains as well. And that, again, just makes it all one piece, just like a tube like look for now. And then once we get up there to the rows that we did that skipped 5, it might seem a little bit more trickier than what it actually is, but it's still relatively simple and still easy to do. So it looks scary, but it's really not. It's actually really simple and easy. So for those final 5, we're just doing half double crochets. Instead of the singles, you can do a single crochet or you can do the half double, whatever is easiest for you. And reaching the final stitch, we are just going to go ahead and just knot it. And then for the tail, now this is what we're going to weave through, so we can pull at the top and cinch everything together. So you're just going to want to cut more than what you think of the length for the tail, just it's easier to take away than to add. And you're just going to pull the yarn completely through, so essentially it's just a knot that you have at the top. And at this point you can use a needle. I don't have my crochet needles. I actually don't know where they are. I always lose them. But same thing with the hook. I am just snaking it through the top of the beanie. So once we pull it all together, it's cinched and it's closed, and it makes it very easy. You can do every other row, you weave it through, or you can do every row as well too. And then when you're done snaking the yarn through, you can kind of tell that the top of the beanie is kind of starting to close on its own a little bit more. So you're just going to pull that tail that we snake through as tight as you can, just so you can have it nice and cinched. And then with the foundation chain tail, I use those two and I do a pretty tight knot, and I do a few of them just to make sure everything is nice and secured as you're wearing it, and you don't have to worry about unraveling or anything like that. And then after doing that and then cutting the extra yarn off, you're just going to just turn it inside out, fold your cuff, and you've completed your beanie that has no bunching, no extra fabric, no nothing at the top, nice and smooth. But that is the end. That is the end of the video, and it is a tutorial. Let me know what you guys want to see next, what products you want me to do, whatever. I'm open to anything. But if you're like, girl, I'm not making this beanie, along with quite a few other different styles and patterns, are all available on my shop right now. But I'll see you guys next time. Bye.